Uh, Everybody, I'll be recording during the mining trip, and I asked the manager, if it's okay. He said it's okay. I won't be recording anybody's face, and if somebody's face does come in, I'll be blurring you out, okay?
We'll have your mask on, right?
Yes.
Okay, what are you doing?
Just recording. I've never seen this before, so yeah. Test, test. All right, test, test. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're good to go. No, don't know if that bodes well.
That'll help us get to the stuff, but she's going to be in charge, okay? Hold on to your tickets. You'll take your tickets when we get up top, but we're going to go out that gate so you can follow Bree. Does anyone have a problem with us? Oh, we have a stroller, so never mind. That answered my question. You're going to use the ramp.
Okay, so we're gonna go all the way.
Yeah, but you can go down this way.
Okay.
So you're just going to go down that fence, and you can follow Bree that way. And I'll, yep.
Who's the tour guide?
She's going to be the tour guide.
All right, I gotta ask her if I can mic her up. Yeah, so you could be mic'd up. You have a pocket?
I do.
You could clip that to your pocket and put this on your collar.
Oh my gosh, I'm being recorded on my first tour. Okay.
Your first tour?
This is my first tour, yes.
All right, then this will be really fun then. Thank you.
Can you?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
Yep, you're good.
Okay. That's good?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Tyler, remind me which way the ramp is?
That way?
This way. Okay.
All right.
I'm not used to doing it without other people, and I'm used to going in a certain order.
That's
so.
all good.
So how are you guys?
Good.
Okay.
It was fun.
We're going to do the museum first.
How long is the tour generally?
It's about 2 hours long.
Okay.
Hour and a half to 2 hours long.
All right.
And where are you from?
Princeton.
Nice. My name's Brianna. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Brianna. I'm Lou.
Nice to meet you, Lou.
Hey. Have you lived in this area for a while?
I've only lived in this area for about 9 years, 8
Okay.
years.
It's a good spot to be.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're a rock hound, because this is a really cool spot.
A rock hound, huh?
Yes.
During the crack epidemic, that was another thing. I hope I don't disappoint you guys on my first tour by myself. Nah, it'll be fine. We're in this together.
You guys will notice there's a picture right here on the wall. If you look out, it's exactly this direction.
All right.
Oh. Going to Zobel. That's the other museum. Yes. But there is a picture in there. If you're looking out this way, it's exactly the view. They got me doing my first tour, and we're
Giving all the
different, and we're doing different orders than what I'm used to. Keeps us on our toes.
Right, you're good to stay for tonight?
I can.
Okay, it's like till like 11.
That's fine.
Okay.
As long as I can have a break to eat, that's all. Okay, so we're at the Zobel Exhibit Hall. This is one of the main museums that we have here. And just walk along here and stay on the yellow line and follow the yellow line down.
Come on in on the yellow. Come on in on the yellow.
Come down all the way to right around here, just so that everyone can fit. Pretty cool, right? And you can scoot down just a little bit further. We just want to make sure there's room for everybody. And you guys will have time to look at everything too. So. Can everybody hear me? Okay, we're in the Zobel Exhibit Center. This is actually the first stop and the last stop for the miners. It used to be all lockers all the way down, and we only have 3 rows of the original lockers. The miners would come in and they would bring down their outfits to put on for the day because they hang them up at the end of the day. Do you know why they would hang them up? To dry off, because heat rises. So they would put their boots and their jackets, everything that needed to be dry, and they'd put it up in these baskets. The baskets are actually galvanized. That means they're dipped in zinc, which is what we're going to hear a lot about today, is zinc, because this is a zinc mine. We have the largest periodic table that's interactive at the back wall right over there. It's got actually examples of the raw form and an example of something that it's used in for the periodic table. Bill, who's in charge of this place, it's one of his pride and joys. And then back here we have from the Auric family, from the, you guys have heard of the vacuum cleaner, the Auric vacuum cleaners. Well, they donated this entire mineral gallery. That's in the back. That's actually where the showers are too. So you'll see shower heads back there. They had showers all along there, and the miners would come in and shower at the end of the day, and before they hung up their clothes to leave. Also, we have a case right back here of everything from outer space, which is very interesting too. And we have a 5 things to look for a scavenger hunt. So while you're looking around for the next about 20 minutes or so, if you can find dinosaur footprints, you'll see it right up there, and real and fool's gold, see if you can tell which one's which. And then 3 ore minerals, franklinite, willemite, and zincite. Those are what's the most popular from this mine here in this area. And then if you can find the magnetic rock, and then if you can find 5,000 soda cans hidden in plain sight. So I'm gonna let you guys look around, and if you have any questions, let me know, and then we'll get back together before we meet on. Oh, the restrooms. We have the women's restroom right back here. And then the men's restroom, you go right out the door and right past the AC unit, you'll see it. If not, you'll have to use something like this in the mine. This is your last restroom break, because these are the toilets, old toilets that they use in the mine. Lovely, right? So you could sit right next to your buddy and, talk, read the paper, and go to the bathroom. So enjoy yourselves, look around. If you have any questions, feel free to pull one of us aside. If I don't have the answer for you, I can look it up for you, because it's probably in my note cards. Okay, so enjoy and see if you can find those things, and enjoy yourself in here.
If you need help with the restrooms, gentlemen, I will show you where it is.
Are you good to go?
Now you can just explore everything in here. You can explore everything in here. We have the largest periodic table down there. It's interactive. And John Kolick was a miner that was here, and his collection is also in one of the cases right over here. Then we have the minerals all along the back wall.
Okay.
All right?
Thanks, Bree.
No problem.
Thank you. You still mic'd.
Oh, okay. I didn't know I was going to...
That was last minute.
That's fine. Put me on my toes. Put the light in my pocket. And then we're going where next?
We're going to go right to the mine next.
Not mine next. Okay, cool. I didn't know if we were going to this museum or that museum, so I always forget the shortcut.
So typical tour used to be Zobel.
Everybody would meet in
mine,
here.
Zobel, mine, and then Geo.
Okay.
And then if you were doing the back route, it would be Zobel, Geo, mine.
Okay.
But because of other stuff going on, we're going to be doing. You start one of the three places and you just kind of go in a circle. So it's either Geo, Zobel, mine, mine's Geo, Zobel, Zobel, mine, Geo.
I'd rather go to Geo last so they can see the rainbow room first. What are you looking for? There's lots of fossils. You've got fossils right here. You've got fossils right here. You've got a T-Rex. That's a replica of a fossil because they don't. Well, what they do is they cast it from the real one because they can't send the real one everywhere because the real one's too delicate. So it's like a photocopy of the real one, so that because the real one's fragile and they don't want to be moving it around everywhere. And it's I believe the real one's in the Smithsonian, right?
One of the real ones in the Smithsonian, but a lot of times even in museums they're supposed to be in, they don't use the real one either. They take the real one and put it in storage so it doesn't break, and they use the cast. The cast are light, so they don't.
And you want some hint for some dinosaur footprints? I would look down that way at the end of the yellow brick road, or down this way at the end of the yellow brick road, and you'll see the dinosaur.
Pokemon?
Huh?
You play Pokemon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ammonite. So Ammonite's based off of this is called an ammonite, right? The helix. You know Kabuto? Kabuto is based off of that.
wow.
That's what is that?
That reminds me of a water puzzle.
Yep, so that is what Kabuto's named after. That is a trilobite, like horseshoe crabs.
That one kind of reminds me of, it's like a small one down here. It's kind of small. It kind of looks like a fish, but it's not.
I know Pikachu.
Yeah. And then this one, if you know Cradilly, the lily pad looking one, this is a Cradilly.
yeah.
So this is like a lily pad like Cradilly is.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. My boys love Pokemon.
That's enough for the kids. Kids tell me like, oh my god, it's like this Pokemon. Like, I now remember. Because I played the original. I never.
My mom used, hanging out with some kids that like
Things you gotta know if you're gonna be
My-
a tour guide here is Pokemon and Minecraft.
I know a little bit about Minecraft.
That's playing Pokemon Go. I actually watched something with Mewtwo.
Oh, I like Mew. That's the
Yeah,
cat, right?
These are squids. I don't know if there's any Pokemon that's like this one, but these are squids.
And Mewtwo is rare.
Oh.
Just have Pokemon Go.
Mew's a cat, though, right?
Mewtwo, it looks like a kind of cat.
Okay. Yeah. See if you can find everything on that list.
You're getting a lot of I'm telling you right now, as a tour guide, you're getting a lot of Minecraft and a lot of
Okay, that's good.
questions like that.
That's good to know.
I had a little kid come up to me and he was like, "Do you have Morphite?" So I don't know. What does it look like? And they're like, "It's a square stone with a circle stone in it." And I was like, They're like, "Yeah, the Power Rangers use it." I was like,
Oh.
I'm like, man, I'm not gonna tell this kid. I can't tell this little 3-year-old kid that doesn't exist. So we're walking around, we're looking around, I'm trying to help him find it. I go, I guess you don't have it. He goes, I guess you don't have it either. Like, I can't tell him it doesn't exist. Can't break his heart.
Aw. filming for paranormal?
I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing.
I can still hear you. You could ask.
Oh.
Yes. What'd you say?
What are you filming? Like, they're asking. Everyone's asking me, what are you filming for? I go, I know he's filming, but I don't know what he's filming. Where you're.
I'm a local comedian, so I'm
Oh.
just filming to document something, but I'm connected with people who
Okay,
film
That's
stuff
cool.
as well.
Can
so-
Everyone's asking
Can
me.
I get a copy of what you do?
Absolutely.
She was asking me,
100%.
the other guy was asking me, and I'm like, I don't know what they're filming. He's just filming. I don't know if he's like a. If you're doing documentary. I can't speak.
That's a great
I'm
term.
trying to get my feet wet in a lot of stuff, so I'm
Okay.
getting
Oh,
various
that's
things.
cool. I have a friend that's doing a documentary right now on a boat about sobriety and how the ocean saved his life.
Really?
And he's about to start going around the world in a sailboat. I went to high school with him. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's dope. Well, if we exchange information, which we will, I'd like to find out his stuff too.
Oh, that would be perfect. Yeah.
Cool beans.
Oh. So,
If you have any questions, let us know. We'll definitely.
Absolutely. If you're on Instagram, you can check me out as well. So.
okay, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and then I just started the TikTok thing.
No. Okay. Okay.
So sorry.
Well, it was called something else for a while, and then it turned into TikTok because my kids used it all the time.
What was it called? Sing something?
Musically.
Musically, that's what I'm thinking of.
And it turned into TikTok, so I have all these old videos of the kids on there. So that's mostly what's on there with my ducks and the kids and.
See, and there's also a paranormal group. So they're like, are you with the paranormal group? And I'm like, I don't know.
Here?
I guess there's a paranormal group coming later.
Yeah.
It is Halloween. I forgot about Halloween. It's hot now, but I know it'll cool off later.
It's gonna cool off when you get.
You should have seen the Haunted Mine when we did the Haunted Mine last weekend. It was really cool.
So you're gonna tell me how many people have died here?
There's 77 deaths reported between the opening of the mine and the closing of the mine.
Okay.
It's one of the facts I know. And there are a couple legends, and there were a couple serious accidents and stuff. I actually have them on my note cards.
Okay, hopefully we'll catch some ghosts on this camera, huh?
That would be cool.
No, it wouldn't. Thank you.
You have the paranormal society here, so you can talk to them about it.
All right. Like, point them out to me when we're done, if you don't mind.
The paranormal group.
Yeah.
We'll probably bump into them.
Okay, they're not the ones that hung the skeleton, right?
No.
Okay,
that
good.
was us.
Gotta make sure.
There's a couple legends. There's a legend of Bicycle Pete. And the Bicycle Pete, he used to ride his bike around the mine, and he fell in the mine, and all they found was his bicycle.
Really?
So supposedly he roams around the mines.
Looking for his bike?
Yeah, I've heard that version, and there's even different versions of that. I've heard that one. That he rode his bike and fell in one of the open pits. I saw one where he actually was a miner, and he was walking, and there was a hole. And in
Yeah, I
order to
saw
get
both
across,
of it.
you had to walk up this plank. So the miner, his buddy, walked over the plank and turned around and heard this big thud, and he disappeared. And his Bicycle Pete just fell off the plank.
Whoa.
But he was never found.
Yeah. So they would say you would be walking around the mine, and you would see people coming, like a light coming around the corner.
That's crazy. Oh,
If you believe that.
Hey, you never know.
he's there somewhere. This is
I'm a
dope.
skeptic believer.
Let's see.
Thank you guys so much.
Check out back there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, there's a lot of really cool stuff back there.
Thank you. Oh, that's dope.
Are you guys finding everything?
No, didn't find.
What are you looking for? And I might be able to give you a hint.
5,000 cans.
5,000 cans. What are cans made out of?
Box. Metal.
Aluminum. So there is a rock, and I would say it's down this row somewhere. It's a big rock that aluminum comes from. And it's on this aisle. Read the signs next to it. It's on one of these end caps.
No, we would imagine that it would be like soda cans.
No, it's hiding in plain sight. So it's what
Okay.
they're made out of.
Oh,
Kind of like obvious.
It's not obvious because there's no soda cans, but there is a sign on it. So if you read it, and it is on one of the end caps. That's my hint.
Yeah, a little bit of reading, even though it's not school anymore.
There's, yep.
Magnetic rock. That's right.
7 people
Okay.
died.
Okay. So give them 10 minutes.
And the Paranormal Society is here.
So pop right here.
Oh, good. Good to know.
I try to
Okay.
spend about 30 minutes in here.
Okay.
30, 40 minutes.
Okay.
So I try to do like a 5-minute intro and then like the 5-10 minute.
At the end. And for that, the dinosaur
Whatever thing is. So
cushions,
where is
yeah,
everything?
where is everything? And then the dinosaur, he's called a growlager,
Growlitory,
and that everyone thinks he's a velociraptor.
Everyone thinks of velociraptor.
Raptor is the
Because
growler.
when you say raptor, first thing you think of it.
Okay.
First thing you think
Yo,
of is
shout out to this dude
But it
who's
has
giving
feathers
her
and it's related to
very
a
good
turkey.
directions. Very good instructions.
Velociraptors are 2
You
feet
could tell
tall
they
And
care.
related to turkey.
and could
And I
be
like that.
And the
That's sweet.
growlitors are what look like the,
look like the ones from Jurassic Park.
yes.
These people really
Pretty much the whole
care.
dinosaur.
And they're found in Lincoln Park. It was found in Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park.
I was trying to jot little notes down when I was going through the videos and stuff. The only 2 rooms I'm gonna need help with are those last 2 rooms in the mine.
Okay, the old
'Cause
stove and the stove and the old stove.
The old stove and then the water level thing,
Okay.
because I haven't written down all the stuff from that yet. That's the only.
I could do that part.
I have in the stove one. I do have the bad air incident
Okay.
that we can talk about in there.
This stuff is beautiful. Look at this.
And I found more pranks. There were some pranks that I found in the book that I'm reading now. They're not attached to anything because those are my newer note cards. This was all the new stuff I
That's
just
beautiful.
found out of the book that I'm reading now.
This is a rock from the Congo. This is dope.
I do so many cards at a time and my hand starts hurting because I'm not used to writing so much. Yes.
This says native copper. So how do they get the copper that we'll see like in our house that has copper like color of a penny?
Well, what they do is, well, a penny is actually majority zinc these days. It's got more zinc in it than copper.
So even the copper pipes that are in your house.
With the copper pipes, what they do is
I'm
they.
talking about the color.
Oh, the color. They,
Yeah, why?
I believe when it smelt, like when they smelt it down and melt it,
That's where it gets
it becomes.
that color.
Yeah, I believe so. Let me double check. This is what it looks like in the raw form.
And then they
Because you
smelt
know how
it, and
copper
then it becomes-
ages and it becomes patinaed. This is the patina color.
Wow.
Yeah, it would look something like that over there. What's this? So once you chisel out the rock, you're gonna get that.
So they,
This looks like a metal, the metal that I'm used to like.
Yeah, and then you're just gonna.
But
and
this
then
is
you
from
chip
what?
it out, and then you have to
From
melt.
what, heat? Or
You have-
this is what's inside the rock.
It's what's inside the rock, and then you have to chip it out and melt it down. And this one's like the patina color because when it sits in the element.
So this is the,
You can feel it. You touch it, you can feel it's metal. It's not rock.
oh, okay. So but this is a piece of rock. But the
Like
metal's
you can,
inside it.
you can touch the
What's
rocks.
this?
Yeah,
This looks like a fossil.
there might be a fossil in there.
That is, I think it's
It looks like
drill.
Oh, okay. That's from the blast.
from the drill.
Looks like it's when they're trying
From
to.
the, yeah, okay.
But I mean, fossils could be anywhere too. So, did you find the soda can?
No, not yet.
Look at the end of over there, at the end of the case. If you think this is fascinating, wait till you see that. Yeah.
This is granite.
No, it's got marble, willemite,
See that a lot.
because this came from here.
Yeah, this Franklin.
This has all 3: franklinite, willemite, and
Which are
zincite.
the little black, like,
The black ones are, oh crap, franklinite. The black ones are franklinite. The
Okay.
ones that glow green is willemite. Which one glows green?
So Willemite is very special. It's allochromatic.
You say
Which means that
dolomite?
basically it can come in any different color you can think of. So sometimes, like if you look right here,
All the black guests come and say that one joke.
They're in plain sight, right in front of you. Right in front of you. There's a sign right there.
Be like, yo, they got dolomite over here.
That's 5,000 cans right there.
where you like you shine on it, it's red, like a orangish reddish looking color, like a pinkish color.
Oh, that's
It's
kind of dope.
calcite, which is from the marble. So you're going to see a lot of this in the mine, which you can see your black franklinite, your red zincite, the white and calcite, and the red. That's zincite. But if you the white is willemite and calcite mixed together. Okay. So you'll see. We'll show you what it's supposed to. Actually, I can show you this.
Sometimes you identify the black one is
Just like that's the one.
That's the one I'm like trying. I'm still trying to remember everything because I've only been on the tours with the guides. This is my first one by myself. Well, he's here to help me to make sure I don't flop on my
it
face.
just becomes like, I used to give tours at another small museum. It
Really?
just becomes repetition.
See, I have all the information. It's just trying to organize it all and trying to make sure to get it all out there.
Eventually you'll realize, oh, no one seems to pay attention at that. So I'm just gonna...
Okay.
That, and I mean, we shut down for about 6 months to a year during COVID. So I was like, dang, do I remember how to give a tour when we opened back up? Like, I don't know if I know how to do this. And then first tour, I was like,
And see, I actually got the job because I came on the tour so many times because I would bring every family member here that came to visit and everything. So
That's cool.
one of the tour guides, when I told him that, he's like, oh, you want a job? I'm like, I would love to work here. You guys have any questions?
Yes, can you show us the 5,000 soda can?
They're right in front of you,
No, they're not. The rocks, all the rocks.
right here.
Oh, that's the one?
It's bauxite, which is what aluminum is mined from.
Wow.
And this right here would make 5,000 soda cans.
You were right, bro. It was on the rock.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Wow.
That stumped me the first time too. I'm like, because I used to come here all the time, and I would bring family members and whoever came to visit me, I'd bring them here because I love collecting rocks and stuff.
Okay.
And so the last time I came, I brought my half brother, and I was talking to the tour guide, and he's like, oh, you want a job? I was like, oh, I would love to work here. So I've been following on the other tours for about a month now, and so this is my first one by myself.
You're doing pretty well. You're doing
Oh,
great.
thank you.
Yep.
Wait till we get to the other parts, because I have all the information. It's just trying to get it all
Oh, yeah.
sorted and out, and I get stage fright a little bit, so I'm like, oh my God.
This is something you love, right?
I do love it, yeah. And I learn something every time I come. Like, I learn something new each time I come.
That's awesome. You're
So,
doing great, though.
thank you. So,
What, that's the,
The cans.
those are the cans I said. How's the cans?
this is aluminum is made from bauxite. Bauxite is aluminum, so what they do is they mine this. This would be equivalent to 5,000 soda
I
cans.
was like, it must be melted. It must be like in something.
Yeah, it's in the rocks. So I'll go over it in a couple minutes. You guys have like 4 more minutes to wander around. Make sure you see the gyms in the Auric Museum, and then down there, check out the periodic table. It's really cool. It's got examples of everything, which is really neat.
Yeah.
Bill, who's the president of the place, he's the one that that was like his pet project, and so it's really cool.
It's really cool.
It's fascinating. Like I've learned so much, and I just hope that I can portray all that information that I've learned to you guys, because I have it all in here. It's all in here. It's just making sure I get it all out right. Oh, thank you. And then the lockers. These are the original lockers, but the names on them are people that donated to help the museum. But if you see a miner sticker on it, like one of these right down here, that means they were an actual miner that worked here. So all the names across here are people that donated. He's one of the most, he helped blast out the stuff to make the museum and everything. He was a major rock hound. He actually has one named after him because he discovered like 10 here. So, yeah. So you'll hear a lot about John Colick. His actual private collection is actually in one of the cases right over to the far right up there.
I'm trying to follow you, sorry.
So we've got about 2 or 3 more minutes.
Okay.
Actually, if you want to start wrapping up, you can start doing it right now.
Wrapping up? Okay.
Actually, 4,000.
Where is it that you stand all tall?
I
You
stand
stand on this
right
row.
behind the. I stand right there.
Okay.
Or in that one over there.
All right, everybody. If you guys want to gather around, we'll go over the scavenger hunt.
Liz.
Can everybody hear me?
All right, we're going to go over the answers.
So how'd you guys like it? Yeah, very cool. What are the rules?
Rules. Oh, the rules that I always do is that if they don't have all the answers,
They have to stay here with.
well, anyone under 18 has to stay here.
Oh, okay.
Everyone over 18 gets to go ahead.
Oh, okay.
We'll
So
come back to them later on and see if they found everything. They still haven't found anything at the end of the tour to put them to work in the mine. Fair compromise?
sounds good. So did you guys find the dinosaur footprints? Yep. There's one. There's actually 2. There's one at each door, and those dinosaur footprints. They're made by the Growlithe. Have you guys seen the Velociraptor in Jurassic Park? Well, that's not a Velociraptor. That is actually a Growlithe. So they lied to you. A Velociraptor is about 2 feet tall. It's got feathers and it's related to a turkey. So that's the footprints that they wanted to make Jurassic Park a little bit better and make it look scarier. So I doubt they wanted to include the turkey feathers. So, and they're found in Lincoln Park. The fossils that we have here, they were actually found local in New Jersey in Lincoln Park. Who found the real gold and the fool's gold? Where? There's a cabinet over there. There's a couple little places, but the cabinet over there is the main spot. And do you know, was the fool's gold on the right or was it on the left? The fool's gold was on the left. Yes, you're correct. The real gold is actually soft and it's malleable, and like the miners would actually bite on it, and they would get a tooth imprint if it was real gold. And you see the miners missing all their teeth. That's because they bit down on fool's gold and broke their tooth. Did you guys find the franklinite, williamite, and zincite? No, not that one. Yep, right here, you'll see it just about everywhere. You got franklinite and williamite and zincite everywhere. That's what we find in this mine. And then the magnetic rock. Did you find the magnetic rock? Yeah, right over there. Awesome. And then the 5,000 soda cans. Right there in plain sight. It's made from the bauxite, which is aluminum. And you see that 5,000 cans can come from that one rock. Well, so that's very important that you guys recycle, because there's only a limited amount of rocks in the earth. So you want to try to reduce, reuse, and recycle. So that, because mining, it's very good, because everything that you have has come from mining. Like your cell phone, everything's come from mining. Everything's come from the ground. So you can pretty much say almost everything's made from dirt and rocks. And so we want to take care of that and recycle and take care of the planet so that we can still mine for the things that we need to, but still reuse the stuff that we need to. Okay, and that's it. We're going to go on to the next spot.
Before we go there,
Oh.
we're talking a lot about the williamite, franklinite, and zincite. You want to talk about what the mine was used for and what role we get out of the mine and what the use are?
Yes.
That's you have a display on that.
Yes. We're actually a zinc mine, so do you guys know what zinc is used for? Name a couple things.
Have you ever heard of zinc? That was the first question.
It's in coins. Yes, it is. Most of a penny is made from zinc now instead of copper because it's more expensive to make it out of pure copper. Yes, your vitamins, A to zinc. Yes, the human body needs it. What else is it used for? Do you know? You never heard of it? Have you ever seen a lifeguard that has the white on their nose? It's in sunblock. Well, zinc is part of sunblock. Zinc oxide, yes. And then also zinc is in your rubber tires. If you didn't have zinc in your tires, they would just melt and fall apart. So you'd be driving along and they just go bleh. You don't want that to happen. And then these are dipped in zinc oxide.
They're dipped in molten zinc.
So what they do is they melt it down and they dip it in and it makes it so it doesn't rust and decay and they'll be around for a very long time.
That process is called galvanization. So most of the zinc that we used to mine here or that gets mined in the world is actually used for galvanizing. So especially like if you're on a cruise ship, if you're anyone here in the Navy, you're in the Navy, you want your ships to be galvanized, otherwise they're going to rust and wear away as you sail.
Because the sea salt will wear it away.
So everything's been galvanized.
It's in batteries. Zinc is all around you. And brass, yes, it's made of brass. And this mine actually helped make weapons and ammunition for the Revolutionary War and the Civil War with the brass and everything, which is really cool. And the paint in the floor. Remember lead paint? Well, lead paint's really bad for you. So they came up with a new process where they put zinc instead of lead, and it made it so that it's still indestructible. It made it so that you can do the one coat paint, and made it so that it's thick and non-toxic, yes. Any questions? Okay. Thank you for being an awesome group for my first tour.
Bree, you're going to go to that door. Have your tickets ready. You're going to go up the ramp again.
Okay.
And then we're going to
Go into the mine.
Right to the mine. Yep. And I'll follow the sign.
All right, so everyone head to this door over here, and I'm going to grab your tickets. Did you see everything you wanted to see? Yeah? What was your favorite thing? The glowing gem. Oh, you're going to love in the mine then. There's a room called the Rainbow Room. It's my favorite spot. It's what made me fall in love with this place. Yeah. And it's from the gralitite. So, all right. This in that. Yeah, this is the first time I'm doing all the tour guide stuff, collecting tickets and everything. I normally just, you can go right out here and wait right outside. You have your ticket.
Excuse me.
There you go. Make sure to save your stubs for your scrapbooks.
Thank you.
And just wait right outside.
Thank you.
No problem.
You're doing great.
Oh, thank you.
I love to hear that. Thank you.
There you go. Save them for your scrapbooks. Yeah.
Bella.
Oh, my niece's name is Bella. There you go. There you go. And I've got his scrapbooks done through 2 years old.
Really?
Yeah. You get behind on them. It's so hard, and then you have to go print out all the pictures. Before, when he was little, you'd go and you'd pick up the pictures, and you
Yeah, I
have
love
to
it.
see whether or not, they even came out right. That's the one thing I like about digital. You get to see what you have right away.
Sweet. She likes the kids.
We're going to go right back up this way. Yep, we're gonna go right back up this. You guys get to see the picture in there?
Yeah, we went looking.
Sorry.
That's actually looking out this
Just
way.
bring the kids, but I want to make it interesting for the parents because sometimes they bring the
I
kids
thought it was neat.
and then the parents fall asleep. So you're like, I gotta keep the parents awake.
No, it's working. Help me out with this headphones. Could you put them on here? Thank you so much.
You're gonna come back that way. Don't worry. You're gonna come right when we leave.
We're actually
Pardon
going
me,
to go
sir.
into the mine now.
Rods from.
You're going to learn about that in the mine, but they are core samples. You have to be 18 to go in here. It's $5 to go in, and then it's $2 a pound, but they have a room that has the lights. So you pick what you want, and you go in the room to see if they glow or not. Mm-hmm. I've got quite the collection at home. Or if you have a portable light, one of the portable ones, you can come out and look at them.
What wave? Do you know what wavelength they use?
It's a short wave. The one you get on Amazon's the wrong one. Because I got 3 off of Amazon, they were the wrong ones. But I finally bought one from here for my collection at home. Uh, I wore my mud boots because I thought it was going to be a lot muddier today. You guys got your little jackets to put on in the mine? Good. It's 54 degrees in there, year round.
Oh, she was cold today when I hit 70. So.
I'm from Florida. So I still haven't gotten used to the cold weather up here, but I married a Jersey boy, so I had to get used to it. Okay, you can right along here.
How you would get to work though if you were a miner.
Hi.
Break.
Aw. For the haunted mine, people got to ride that into the mine for the haunted mine tour. Yeah, that was last weekend. Oh, it's amazing. They have a less scarier one a little bit earlier, and then they have the scary one later. That was a lot of fun. All right, is everybody here? Is that everybody? Where'd Tyler go? Oh no. Okay. So to give you guys a little background history, when Sterling Hill Mine closed, it was the very last working underground mine in New Jersey, because New Jersey used to be a pretty decent mining state. Because of its uniqueness, the Sterling Mine has intrigued geologists and mineralogists for years, because there is over 350 minerals here just in this location on Earth, and about 30 of those, 90 of them phosphorus, where they glow under the fluorescent light, and then there's about 30 that are only found here, that nowhere else in the world, you can only find them here. And what was cool about the zinc mine is normally you get about 3 to 7% when you mine, and out of everything you pull out, like 3 to 7% of it would be zinc at a normal zinc mine. It's up to about 25% here. So it's and there's still actually there's still about a few hundred tons of zinc left in the mine, but because of the way this mine is set up, the way that this area is, it's very hard, it's very difficult for them to mine it. So it's stumped a lot of geologists as well.
10 years worth of zinc left over.
10 years of zinc left over. Like 100, like
I'm not sure quantity-wise, but I know it's about 10 years.
okay.
So,
The mine was first opened in 1772 by Abram Ogden. That's who the town was named after. And it closed in 1986 due to a tax dispute. Archaeologists have traced human life back in northern New Jersey back to 8,640 BC. They actually, the Dutch came here and they were mining here, but they thought they were mining copper and iron because a lot of the minerals look similar. They had it took 100 years for them to discover that it was zinc and that discover some of the other minerals that were here, because they actually sent it back to England and sent it back, and they tried to find out a proper smelting process. The smelting process is where they melt it down to get what you need, and it wasn't melting right when they sent it back because it wasn't iron, it wasn't copper. Lord Sterling Hill Mines, he got the name from there. That's the only thing he left. He had iron mines in New Jersey and New York, and they provided weapons for the Revolutionary War, which I think is pretty cool. And he was a general under George Washington. Anyone know who George Washington is?
The first president of the United States.
Yes. And Lord Sterling also commanded troops in the battles of Saratoga, Brandywine, and Long Island, which was really cool.
I was told he wasn't a lord.
He wasn't technically a lord. He got that name from the King of England because he was gifted the land. I'm not sure all the details about that, but he and then William Alexander, he's the Earl of Stirling. He inherited the estate, all the land from his father. It was all from England, and then obviously he fought on George Washington's side, so he became an American. It was not until after 1810 when Lord Sterling's black ore was found to be composed of iron, zinc, and manganese. It was named Franklinite after the Franklin mine, which is only a couple miles away. The last that they mined everything out of there in 1950s.
1950s, they closed down and they turned off their pump. It's flooded.
And the Franklin mine was named after, anyone take a wild guess? Benjamin Franklin, yes. So in 1824, that's when the red copper ore, which the Dutch and Lord Sterling were trying to mine, was identified. Let's see. Out here we have, these are the what you would put all the rocks in to transport them, because what would happen is you mine it and you let gravity do the job and let everything fall to the bottom. Then it would go up, and then it would go over this conveyor belt and then go into the silos over there, and then we would ship them to Pennsylvania is one of the places, and then there's a couple other places in New Jersey that we would ship it to for them to do the smelting process. So any questions so far?
That was the zinc ore.
That was the zinc ore, yes.
So they would pulverize it down to about to a sand powder.
Mhm.
That would go along there into there, because Pennsylvania is coal. New Jersey does not have coal, so you need 5 tons of coal to process the 1 ton of zinc every ton you take out. So it's easier to do it in Pennsylvania, where all the coal is, than to ship all that coal over here to do it.
Mhm. Well, Lord Sterling sold it to Robert Ogden in 1765, and then after it was foreclosed in 1989, it was auctioned off to Richard and Robert Hawk for $750,000, and that's when they opened the mine, the museum, and made it open to the public. And we will, over here we have, this is it's what they would ride into the mine on.
Man cage.
It's a man cage, and you would ride into the mine on it. It fits about 20 guys on it, and it goes about 10 miles per hour. If you notice, there's no seat belts, there's nothing, so you'd be going there 10 miles per hour you have to stand perfectly still because you're surrounded by everything. All right. we're at the adit level. This is the surface level. This is where you go into the mine. We have the ore cars, and they're in a V shape to make them easier to tip over. So it takes less people to be able to tip it over. I'll show you an example inside as well. The man car riders, it holds 20 to 30 miners, the man car.
The locomotive?
Hmm?
The locomotive?
The locomotive? Oh, I'll let you go on the locomotive.
Okay, so there's another New Jersey resident. He actually came from Ohio, okay, and then he settled in New Jersey. He had a laboratory in New Jersey. Yep. He actually had a laboratory in New Jersey, and a lot of people know him for one of his inventions. Actually, it's an innovation. You don't know this scientist or this inventor's name? Thomas Edison. So one of the things that he did before he started working on light bulbs was actually had an iron mine on Sparta Mountain, about 2 miles from here. He had a lot of his...
he had his own money invested in it, $3 million.
And he had his own process that he tried to do to enrich the iron. The problem was the iron was so deep underground and was so poor quality, but by the time it got up to the surface and could enrich it, he spent so much money trying to do that it actually went under. He sold it for about $2 million and then turned whatever he had left over to a cement mixing company. But a lot of his inventions were used in the mine. So one of them being that battery-powered locomotive right there, which can push about 16 of these 2-ton ore carts at a time.
Didn't he create the process of making concrete?
He helped with concrete. He had the cement concrete mixing. I'm not sure if he invented it or improved on it.
He improved it.
The one that he figured out how to create Portland, to mix the Portland with like
he improved the process.
concrete.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did. And of course, one of the other things he did is if you go to New York City
He's
and you
really
look, there
old.
are no telephone poles in New York City. Do you know why? Thomas Edison fought to have them put underground for safety.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a fun fact.
So Sterling Hill Mine is the most famous mine in the world. You guys right here are standing in history because of how amazing it is. New Jersey was a very, very productive mining state for a long time, and this was the last mine that was open. New Jersey had over 450 iron mines, about 30 copper mines, and then the 2 world famous zinc mines here in Franklin. Anybody know the different resources taken out of mines? Anybody? Coal, iron, copper, gold, diamonds, rubies. Those are all different things that can come from a mine. So you're able to mine for many different things.
Want to take them in?
Yep, we can go in. We'll go right in this way. Stay on the left-hand side. That means
Test,
I'm
test.
taking too long. You stay on the left-hand side. Go to about right there, just so everyone can fit.
Can I just make just a quick announcement? We have the New Jersey Paranormal Society is doing an event here tonight. So you're going to see like these little candles and some other things going on that are not typically here. So just bear with us. We're just going to work around them, okay?
Is this mine flooding?
No, it is not.
No. If you get hit by some water, like I just did, it's okay. That's called a cave kiss, and it's supposed to be good luck. The mine is about 1,850 feet deep, and the temperature here year-round is 58 degrees. So winter, summer, spring, fall, it's always 58 degrees. We have 35 miles of tunnels, but we're not going to be exploring all 35 miles of tunnels. We're only going to be up on the main level because a lot of the mine is flooded because once they turn the pipes off, because you'll see right here, You see these pipes? One of them brings the water out and one of them brings compressed air in.
So the big one's water, the small one's compressed air.
Let's see. Other than the very top, the entire lower water is underground. The entire bottom of it is underground, underwater. So in here we have a few different cave formations that you'll see. It happens in caves and mines. You have stalactites, which are right above me.
Some right here too.
These are stalactites. These right here are about 50, 60 years old. So they're just babies. And the way that you know that they're stalactites is because they hold on tight to the ceiling. Then you have stalagmite, or ones that are on the floor, which you won't have any in here because it is a mine and they normally knock those out. And then over here, right here, this is called flowstone. This is right here. There is some throughout the mine. Please don't touch it because it will mess it up, and the oils on your hand will mess it up, and it'll stop growing in certain spots. And it takes forever to. How long did it take for that handprint?
There was one of the tour guides when I first started here. They told us that there was someone put their handprint. A big kid who brought their kids with them put their hand on top, really high up. And it looked like that, and it took about 5 years. After when I came back after we opened up after the quarantine, I was like, wow, it's gone. So it took about 5 years to heal up on itself. So,
So that's a living organism?
it's not a living organism. It's actually, so what happens is you have calcium. This is all made out of marble, so marble has calcium in it. And what happens is the water trickles through, it takes the calcium with it, but deposits the calcium when it drips, and the calcium starts growing. So the same thing that makes the stalactites actually dripping down the wall and letting the calcium stay behind while the water just keeps flowing off, and it makes like this slimy looking effect. So it's that calcium has got algae in it, but when you touch it, it kind of kills that process from happening, and then just kind of grows around you where you left it, and then it'll take a while to heal over. Bless you.
Bless you. And the reason it's white is because there is a lot of marble here. The main thing that's holding everything up is it's a marble mountain with minerals in the marble, and that's why it's white. Sorry, I'm shaking. And then we'll go down a little bit further.
One last thing. So there's a doorway right here. This is a safety ladder system. That's how the miners got up if they needed to, because this door was the only entrance and only exit at one point. So if they needed to get up from the lower levels, they couldn't get to the shaft station, they would walk up this safety ladder system to get out. Again, it's about 100 feet between levels, so 4 flights of stairs, each one about 25 feet to get to the next level. Hopefully it's free, otherwise you're walking up, what's it called? Two sets, so 50 feet. As Bree said, it's 1850 down on this side. There's another whole other section that goes from 1850 to 2700.
Yeah, 2700.
So it's like 2 Empire State Buildings on top of each other. That's how deep this is.
And then some of the core sampling at the bottom actually went down to about 5,000 feet, but that was just a core sample. And when it went down that deep, it was like 96 degrees down that deep, because the deeper you go, the hotter it is.
Because you get closer to the mantle.
And besides humans, what can you see in a mine? Anybody? Huh? Rats, yeah, rats. Bats, yep. Cave spiders, yep. Those are some things that you see.
And every once in a while, right around here, I'll see a frog, but I don't see any today.
A fun fact is that the upper levels of Sterling Mine, the more abandoned areas, actually provided homes to thousands of bats back when it was open and working. There's very few bats today because most of the mine is flooded. So we're going to go down here. Just a little ways. Whew. Yeah, cave kisses are good luck. Go right past these doors and then right along there, right past these doors. Oh, that'd be really good luck, right? And look, they're starting to form some little stalactites.
You guys can keep moving down a little bit more.
Keep going, go down to right about here. That way everyone can fit. And that's how stalactites are formed. You see it doing it right now. Okay. Can everyone hear me? All right. So, did you guys notice anything when you walked through here?
A lot more water.
A lot more water. Well, you have these two doors here that help control the airflow. And if you see, we have little Johnny here. Obviously, his dad was sick, so he came to work for his dad. Because if a miner was sick, the oldest son would come to the mine to work for them, and they would actually go and check to see if you were really sick, because the mine provided housing for the miners. It provided housing. It provided camp for the kids. It provided its own stores. You would get paid in vouchers, and you would be able to go spend it in the stores, and you had your own little town. It was really pretty cool. And then, so if you were sick, your oldest kid would get to go skip school and come work in the mine. Would you guys want to do that? Yeah. Yeah? I don't know if they wanted to do it back then, but that's how it worked. All right?
They wouldn't be doing the actual mining, by the way.
No, they would only open and close doors and they would do the light work because they were children until the labor laws came along, and then obviously you couldn't do that anymore. All right, so now what we're going to do is going to go into the next room.
What's that?
Where's the comment?
Which is what they need to do, and they learn a trade.
Actually, if you stop right around here, you can actually see we have these the big supports here, but you can see, look at the flow stone that has iron in it. So see how it's a different color? It's rusty. All right. If you want to go right down a little bit further, I'm going to let everyone see this. You guys want to see that here's the rusty flow stone, and then there's a rustical. Where's the rustical?
What's that?
Where's the rustical?
The rustical is. Don't tell me they removed it.
Am I not far
They
enough?
removed most of them.
Oh, they did?
Here it is.
Here we have one lonely rustical right here. You can see it's just like a stalactite, but we call it a rustical because it's rusty.
Looks like a rusty icicle, hence the name rustical.
Mm-hmm. And here's the rusty flowstone. So the flowstone happens with whatever minerals are there, they will build onto it. So if you're in a coal mine, obviously you probably get black ones, and depending on what kind of mine you're at. All right.
So this right here is called a steel set. It's here because it's protecting the walls around them. They actually thought it was a mud zone. The rock was very loose and sliding around, so they reinforced with these concrete slabs and steel beams to keep it back. So it's called a square set or a steel set. Okay. One thing you'll notice though is they actually didn't use their own supply because there's a lot of rust here, so they obviously wasn't galvanized, or the galvanization actually wore off, which it does over several years. It doesn't, if you leave a bike out over a weekend, it's going to start rusting. Galvanizing takes decades to undo.
And you'll see some other ones like this that are made out of wood. Those were like the more temporary ones, and they had their own lumber mill on the property to, if they had a new section that they needed to set up, they'd go get some lumber, set it up real quick to make it safe.
So eventually, right, look, you can see like a little baby rustical forming right
Go
there.
right in that room and find a seat.
Right
in there.
Again, in 5 years that I've been here, I've only seen 2 bats. And that was like my first year and my third year, so they're not a lot around here. I've seen more frogs than I've seen bats. But if anything, they're over here. Ooh.
We're gonna go right in here into the lamp room. Right? So cool. I love this place. I know I stutter over my words sometimes, but
You
this
lost
place
something.
is fascinating.
You lost something.
No.
Oh, where? So you lost about 16 pounds right there. 22.
Uh-oh, my note cards got wet. I got cave kisses. Yeah. I keep
Carmen's
trying
gonna
to
move
put them
this
in different
over.
orders, trying to like make sure I cover everything in each spot. So he's chiming in for me. All right, so this is the lamp room. Anybody know why it's called the lamp room? Because all the lamps and because of all the lamps and batteries behind you. The workers' day, they would sign in and they would get a metal tag to hang. So what they would do is they would take one of these tags, put it in your pocket, and then go work in the section of the mine that you're going to work in. When you come back at the end of the day, you put it back where it belongs. If you didn't do that, if you forgot to do that, then they would send people looking for you. And that's not a good thing. Because they would make sure, they wanted to make sure everybody was out of the mine at the end of the day. In the morning, they blew a whistle 2 times, and if you weren't in by the second whistle, you were sent home without pay. So it's always good to be on time. And if you were sick, you better be sick, because a gentleman that they would call Dick Tracy would go to your home to check to see if you were sick, or you'd be fired that day. So no calling out for a hangover, no calling out because you were just out too late. The zinc company had its own hospital in Franklin, and they had an ambulance and a surgeon that would come to the mine that would take care of injuries or, unfortunately, if somebody passed away. Any questions about that?
How many fatalities of the history of the mine?
Between the open and closing of the mine, 77.
Seems low.
Hmm?
For a mine, that seems low.
It is very low, because this is one of the, if you wanted to be a miner, this would be the mine you would want to work in. Because you don't have the coal, which causes all these extra gases like methane. Anyone else know other gases that you could find in a mine? Sulfur.
Sulfur, you see sulfur?
Sulfur, carbon monoxide. So they had different ways. You know how I asked you if there were any other critters in here? Well, rats were the miners' friends. They were very good friends of the miners. They would actually take part of their lunch and feed it to the rats, because if they saw rats running from somewhere, or if they saw a rat die, they know, get out of there. Danger, danger. Back in 1927, do you know how much they made per hour? $2? Oh, that would be a lot, yeah. 42 cents. And in 1945, it went up to $2.60. So, like I was telling you before, they had a store in Franklin where miners would buy the necessities, everything. They had a bowling alley. They had a Marshall house where they would have dances, and the library and everything. Get to the lamp room, sorry. I'm a little behind on my note cards.
Did you ever have any collapses here, being the fact that it's marble, which is...
They have. There was actually one guy, he was blasting, and his fuse accidentally caught, and it actually exploded, and a big rock about the size of a pool table came and pushed him, and he pushed him about 30 feet, and he ended up, his light went out, everything went out, and he ended up crawling his way, following the pipes and the railroad tracks to the next level, where 2 engineers found him, and he had to have 5 years of reconstructive surgery on his face because it broke his whole face.
And he managed to save himself?
He managed to save himself, yes. And there's a few incidences like that. There's actually a really good book in the gift shop, and it tells you, it's got interviews with some of the miners, and it tells you some of the stories, which is really fascinating. The Sterling mine was the largest single consumer of electric power in the county, using enough energy to satisfy the average needs of 400 to 500 families. And then we have, I'm going to let you show the lamps, the
Yeah.
Edison lamp. And
So, some of the lamps. So, let's go way, way back. So, we had flashlights, right? But before we had flashlights, electricity, what do we usually use to see in the dark? Candles, right? Candles, methane, carbide. We used to use kerosene. We used to use oil. Basically, use an open flame. Okay. I had a Boy Scout in here. What's my Boy Scout? What are the 3 things you need for a fire? 3 things you need for a fire. Fuel and a spark. We're working on it. So problem is you need open, right? You need open air, right? So to keep the flame breathing. So the problem with that is that if you're working in a coal mine, coal is flammable, but also it creates methane and carbon monoxide, which are odorless, tasteless, invisible, highly explosive, and toxic to breathe in. So you're working, and let's say the methane touches your candle, right? Not good. So King of England said anyone who could come up with a safety measure to see in the dark but also prevent this from happening would be knighted. Sir Humphrey Davies came up with this invention called the Davies safety lamp. It looks like this. Okay, hold it up top. The flames in here, right, with the filter up top allows oxygen in. Small amounts of the harmful gases can get in. If it gets like a bluish greenish color and it gets bigger as you hold it up up top, because methane is lighter than normal air, it would actually mean that you need to get out of the mine. What they would do is they would take a sulfur capsule, they would throw it in the fan system, which is blowing into the stairwell system. The mine will smell like rotten eggs in like a matter of minutes. That's your cue to get out, because they can't use warnings, they can't use lights and sirens, they use smell, because you're using a lot of loud equipment. From there, they would go into your Edison lamps. Again, our friend Thomas Edison. All those are the charging racks behind you. This is a battery that lasts about 10 hours for your typical workday. It would hook onto your belt. This would hook onto your bunk hat right here, and you would have your light. This would regulate how bright it is right here. Again, not that bright. It's like dollar store flashlight bright, right? The ones that we use now are LEDs, which are a lot brighter and a lot smaller than this.
And before that, they would use carbide, where it would be an open flame on their helmet. And they would actually use that to light the dynamites as well. And a 6 feet long fuse for dynamite, you had about 3 minutes to get to safety. So
You got these, or you want me to do?
you can go. Yeah,
So the other thing that you have to do, as I believe it was the 50s, it was a mandate by the federal government that all miners, no matter what kind of mine, had to have one of these on their person at all times while working. It is a self-rescue kit. When you open it up, these are old, so they're falling apart, so bear with me, but they would look something like this. You would bite down, wrap this around your head, plug your nose and breathe in. It converts carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide. It gives you about 15 to 60 minutes of extra time to breathe in, because carbon dioxide still has enough oxygen for you to breathe. Not a lot, but enough. The more it works, the more carbon monoxide in the air, the more this has to work overtime. It heats up to about 300 degrees Fahrenheit in the process. Yeah, so you're breathing in baking, like for you little guys, it's like baking cookies at home in the oven, and then opening up the oven and breathing in that air for about 15 minutes. So you get blisters on your face, your gums, your tongue, your trachea, inside your lungs. But that's what you got to do until you get to somewhere safe, then you can breathe normally. The hotter this gets, it lasts about 15 minutes. If it didn't get as hot, it would be about 60 minutes. So you get to the next work area where it's safe, then you take it off and you can go the rest of the way.
So, as I was saying before, the day starts about 7 a.m. About noon, the blasting would begin, and then the first shift left at 3 p.m. The fans would ventilate the gases and smoke, and then 7 p.m. the second shift started by mucking. And if somebody forgot to put their tag back, they'd be in trouble. Instead of docking your wages, what do you think their punishment was?
They would have to work overtime.
Not quite.
That'd be better than this. Oh.
No, they didn't get fired. You might want to get fired.
They need miners.
Instead. They need the miners. Anybody else? What? Yeah. Fired? No, that would be too easy to deduct their pay.
Say they would have to be part of the next search crew.
Nope.
We'll show you.
What would happen is they would get the duty of duty. And we will go to the next place and you will see what that entailed. Per week? Well, they only made about 42 cents an hour. They would work at least 40 hours, if not more.
10-hour workday.
It was a 10-hour shift, yes. So, yes. How long did it take to mine all this? Actually, I have it later in my note cards, and I'll tell you a little bit later when we're blasting, okay? And I'll tell you exactly how far it went for how long it was. All right, so we're going to go this way.
So, all right, so I had a quick question. Why are there so many birds? What's the thing with birds? So, canaries, so what can we use with rats? Canaries could also be used in the mine. The idea is that a canary is small. So a male canary would continue singing in the darkness. Female canaries do not sing in the dark. So you'd use a canary in the dark, and as you're mining, you can hear it whistling. If there's gases in the mine that are present and they're harmful, it will affect the canary before it affects you because your body is a lot larger. The lungs and the circulation is a lot smaller in a canary. So canaries stop singing, you want to get out. Same thing, if the rats die or if you see a pile of dead rats somewhere, you might want to get out of that area too because that means that they suffocated because they were breathing in something that wasn't oxygen. I always say the problem with the canary is you had to buy it with your own paycheck, which was expensive, so you might chip in with your buddies. And B, you don't know what quality canary you're getting at the store. So you might get a newer model, let's say, or the older model, and the older model might stop singing for the wrong reasons. So you might, evacuate your mine because your old canary just gave out.
But out of all the mines to work at, this is the mine you would want to work at. This is one of the safest mines because of what you're mining and just because of everything. It's safe.
You want to lead them out?
Yep. So we'll go this way, and I'm going to show you guys what the punishment was.
Sorry, I'm going to move over a little bit. Get that?
So you said they were started their day at 7?
Yeah, so at one point in time there was 3 shifts.
Okay, so it was like 24-hour operation.
Basically, it would do your shift and then when you're leaving, another shift's coming in.
Right.
You're going to become a rock hound early on?
Especially during World War I and World War II,
I started collecting rocks when I was younger, when I was a kid.
The 3 shifts
and
working 24/7
because
all that zinc was used for galvanizing those naval vessels
I'd have an awesome
and
collection if I'd
for turning into brass for the bullet
Still have a pretty good
casings, the artillery shells, whatever you needed.
Why do I always keep hitting the wrong button? Oh. Have you ever heard of kick the can or honey buckets or, well, these are the cans right here. And you would want to kick the can because before you sit down on it, you want to make sure there's nothing to nibble you. These are the toilets, the actual seats right here are only from like the 80s. So before they would have like a plank of wood or nothing. So, and your job, they have these on every level. If you got in trouble, your job is to clean all these out. And you do that until the next person gets in trouble. That could be a day, that could be a week, that could be a month. You have no idea how long you're gonna be cleaning the toilets for. There's a fun fact that I found when I was researching stuff. According to the New Jersey City News on Thursday, March 30th, 1893, a professional acrobat finds employment at the zinc mines in Augsburg. His services are required in getting out snarls and removing obstructions from the cables and electric wires used about the ore cars. See all these wires? If any of them got tangled up, the acrobat would get them untangled. Because they could walk a tightrope when necessary. If it was back in the mining days, I wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be here because women were considered very bad luck. They were not allowed in the mine at all. As soon as a woman started, nope, 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 because it was bad luck, just kind of like a captain's on a boat, you know, that. So over here we have, anybody know what this is?
Rescue box?
It's a rescue box, yes. A lot of people say a coffin, but it is a first aid kit, and it's you want everything in there to be dry and warm. So there's, you know, the light in there, everything was dry and warm because your first aid kit would be in there with the bandages and everything. Well, because it's dry and warm, sometimes people would like to come in and take a nap. And the miners were practical jokers. So if you came in here and decided to lay down for a few to take a nap, somebody might come along, close it, and stick a screwdriver through the door so that you couldn't get out. And your boss would be the one to find you. Mm-hmm.
What happened if no one got in trouble? Who fixed the toilets?
The last person that got in trouble. So you're doing it until the next person gets in trouble. That could be a month, that could be a week, that could be a day, that could be a year. You did the punishment until the next person got in trouble.
Like, what if no one ever got in trouble?
And you were busy.
That's really bad luck for you. This is the biggest piece of flow mine in the entire mine, right here. Goes all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. The handprint he was talking about was right up here somewhere. Oh, wait, is that it right there? Is that
It used to be out of algae almost.
Okay, because I see like some sort of little print.
No, it was a lot lower than that. It was right about here or so, which
Okay.
means a little kid could not have touched it, which means a big kid who brought their little kids with them touched
But
it.
this is the largest piece of flowstone in the mine. Pretty fascinating.
The green you see is algae forming on it from the lights.
So over here, yes,
So a little kid touched that?
a big kid.
Meaning your
A
parent,
big
someone
kid that
who,
brought little
meaning
kids
a
with them.
parent
That means
touched
the
it.
parent did it, and they shouldn't have.
That's
but-
why I called them a really, really big kid.
Any other questions?
This is a charger for the Edison
Which we'll
locomotive.
get to that in just a couple minutes. Over here. So over here, you have the mine shafts. Because this is a shaft station. You're going to have to help me out with this a little
Sure.
bit. The shaft station, you've got wires, you've got the machines. The wires and machines go up the first and second one. The man cage is this one right here, and they actually work on like where one goes up, the other one comes down, like that. And that's and then over here you have the man cage, so you have one going up and one going down, and then you have a bell right here. I'm going to let you take over the bell part.
Yeah, so the man cage would be on the third one with the machines on this one. And what happened is as one goes up, the other one would go down. These would go about 10 miles an hour. These would go about 20 miles an hour. And that would be where your ore skip would be, the big bucket we saw outside on the side. So those would go about 20 miles an hour, carrying about softball size, fist size pieces of ore or rock to the top of the mountain. Now, you can't use walkie-talkies. Anyone who's tried to use their cell phone right here, you've learned there is no reception in here. So you got to use kind of like two soup cans attached by a string. It's bells attached by a cable. So when I ring this bell, it will ring a bell at the top where the hoist operator is. And I use kind of like Morse code. I have this whole board of what level I'm on and what level I want to get to. And I have to ring the bell in a certain pattern. So if I'm on the adit, it's 1, pause 1. Let's say I want to go to 1000 foot, it's 3, pause 2. So I would ring it something like this. Now they're going to ring that back to make sure he's got it correct, and then the cart would move down. Let's see if this works today.
And you'd only have about 30 seconds to load or unload whatever you were trying to get on or off, because there is no walkie-talkies. So they give you about 30 seconds and then they start moving it to the next place. So you've got to haul butt. And there goes the ore coming up. So if you need to load more ore or if you need to unload it, you had about 30 seconds to do it. If you had to jump onto the man cage, you had 30 seconds to do it, otherwise it starts moving. And you notice there are no seat belts. It's just like the one in the beginning. You just hold on and don't move too much because you don't want to hit the sides or the roof.
Pay attention to this ore right here. See this, the rock right there? Pay attention to it because I'm going to talk about that at the end of the tour. It's kind of funny. It's a cliffhanger for now.
Over here, we have the ore buckets. Remember outside I told you I would show you how one worked? If you guys could all get on that side right over there.
Not anymore.
And step back just a little bit away from it. Nope. Step right back over there, okay?
That was.
This is my first time doing it by myself, so.
And sometimes I would use
But to
that.
show you how easy it is, what they're made, you know how cars are top heavy? If they're top heavy, they'll flip. Well, this is very top heavy because it comes in a V. So it's easy enough for someone as small and as weak as somebody like me. So you can actually, hold on. Uh-oh.
Go from the middle. There you go.
There you go. See? And I'm weak. And you would dump it out. And so they had it so only one person, they made them so that one person could do it.
And then these would be locks to lock it in place.
Lock it in place. Here you have the engine. This is the engine that would actually pull all these cars. And then you have the battery right behind you. You have the battery pack for this engine. It would charge. The charge lasts.
The charge lasts about 2 to 3 hours for one of these.
And
for
the
one of those, it
charger
could push
is
about
right-
16 of those.
Right back behind you, right over there.
So that's the charging pack. Yeah.
How many rocks can fit?
How many rocks? About 2 tons, right? 2 tons
About
for
2 tons?
2 ton for a 2 ton ore cart.
Ethan, that's a lot. That's like 2 elephants. Because an elephant weighs a ton. Could you imagine 2 elephants in here? Sitting side to side, having them a cup of coffee while we pull them around. All right.
Why they're like on such an angle as opposed to...
Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. Why are they on an angle? I don't know if you have that, but so the reason why is if you look, you'll see it later on. The vein of zinc that we're trying to chase after is at a 56-ish degree angle. So instead of making it a 90 degrees straight down and then the zinc being on an angle like this, they actually mirror the zinc and make it parallel so it copies. So it's always the same distance to the zinc. They follow that pattern.
Right.
If you do it this way, every time further you get, it's going to get further and further and further away from you.
Gotcha.
And that's
So
how some of the miners know where they are too, because they have to find the wall that is at the angle, because that's the angle of the whole mountain.
Yeah. The strike and dip, if you ever heard of that.
What was the theory behind the angle?
Yeah, some of them are like some of them are like an elevator in the
It
street.
probably is for safety because...
Just makes it sturdier or more secure.
And that locomotive actually can push 16 of these cars. 16 of them. Yeah, that's a strong, small but mighty. Yeah.
How long did it take to mine all of it to make a big circle and to go?
You know what? I'm going to answer that question in probably 2 stops.
Oh, like how many days are you?
We're talking
I know,
about
I'm
that.
going to tell you. I'm going to answer that for you.
Not now,
okay?
but in a few minutes, okay?
All right. When you see something else, I'm going to show you, okay? Oh, and also, they don't have any in here right now, but for the adults, they actually store beer down here sometimes for some of the local breweries.
They did. They used to store it here.
And they're actually talking about doing it again soon. But they actually did in the previous, they would store the barrels of beer for them to age properly because this is the perfect temperature for them.
We had 2 small casks. Was in here for about a year.
And they're little local breweries, so like there's like a little local restaurant that you could actually go to. So
Why do they keep, are the bits here because they used to put them in the equipment car or?
What's that?
The bits,
Yeah, you could load them up, or we've taken it out. We try to everything's underwater, so we try to take as much as we can to use for replicas or use for exhibits or whatever. So we try to get as much of the original stuff as we could out. before we went out and purchased, newer or other from other mines. Or they would just store it here until they needed it for their.
We'll talk more about the water in a little bit too. So, all right. Yeah.
So you know.
Okay. I'm taking too long.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'll look at you and have you bump in a little bit late for the things because I haven't done I need to do the lights and stuff on my own show, show you guys because I haven't.
Still pumping water out, right?
No, we stopped pumping water out in '86 when they shut the mine down.
And we'll actually go over
They
that.
just
how
left
long
over
it
pipes.
took. Well, we're going to go this way. We go right down here. You could actually see water at the bottom of this, about 30, 40 feet down. So you can see it right down there. Okay, so this is the ore pass, and this is they would be called a grizzly worker. What would happen is rocks would come down, and if they were too big, like some of those are, somebody would have to break them up. So this would be an entry-level job just to see if somebody could be tough enough to be in here. And as you notice, they do have some safety equipment. They've got this lovely wire right here and the lovely rusted chain that attaches to them. They would either use dynamite, they would use jackhammer, or they would use a sledgehammer and they would make them smaller pieces to go all the way down. So when I said out in the beginning that they would use gravity, so all the bigger pieces, they would get them all to go down before they came back up onto the conveyor belt. So this is, the water table is right down there. It's about, if you've got well water, it's about 30, 40 feet back down.
About 30, 40 feet, yep.
That's where you would go to get your water.
The blue comes from the calcium from the marble. Okay, it's perfectly calm because there's nothing to create waves in here, and it's not frozen. It's too warm for that. It's probably about 40 degrees. But again, it's still cold, but not freezing cold. So if you were to drop something in there, which please don't, it would make a splash. It would not get stuck. No animals.
Oh, go ahead.
Said no animals either. No fish. Nothing in there.
Approximately 86 gallons of water per minute leaked into the Sterling Hill mine when it was in operation and had to be pumped out. The pumps were turned off when it was closed in March of 1986, and the water rose 1 foot per day. The mine was flooded to the current level, 30 feet below the adit, in 1993. So you can see how deep it's flooded right down there.
There's moss in there.
Got algae and all kinds of fun stuff. All right. Tyler.
Need me to do the drills?
I'm going to start, but I'm going to try to do the drills, and then I'm going to have you jump in.
Okay.
Okay, so the drills and drill bits, the first ones that they used were solid. The solid ones, they did not use water, and so it was very dusty, and that's how you got like white lung or black lung, depending on what you were mining. Here it would be white lung because of the marble. In a coal mine, it would be black lung. And then in 1934, they started using water with drilling, and that's when you got the hollow drill bits. The next one's down. You see the hollow drill bits. What would happen is the water would go through the drill bit, and it would make a sludge, so everything would just kind of sludge down, and it wouldn't get all the dust in the air. You didn't have to worry as much about black lung and white lung for that.
Yeah, these gave you silicosis or Myers lung, as we said, white lung disease because of the marble, but they nicknamed these drills Widowmakers. They say the average life expectancy of using a Widowmaker was about 40 to 50 years old.
Because of incidences like what I was talking about earlier, where the guy, there was one guy who was changing his drill bit when the rock fell as well, and how they became widow makers. So we'll go a little bit further down. Except you're always in the front up here, so I never see exactly where you stop.
I usually stop right at the end of that door, that tunnel.
All right, stop right there. Stop right here. All right, so this is the agazium. That's what it's called, the agazium, right?
Oh, I always learned it as the drift, or
where they kept the
the magazine.
The
magazine, yeah, the magazine's where they kept the explosives.
This is where they kept all the explosives so that it was a little bit away from the rest of the mine, so that if something did go off, it wouldn't collapse the whole mine. And you'll notice, does anybody notice anything that happens right around here?
More smoother?
I see these, do you see these the little train mine tracks? See how they stop here? Because this is all new stuff that was blown out right after it became a museum, because they wanted to make it better for everybody.
Safety exits.
John Collick, he's a miner that worked here. He actually helped blast this out. John Collick discovered 10 minerals, 4 which were new to science. 1 was named after him. And this new tunnel is 240 feet long, or 242 feet long. And it was blasted in 1990 using 49 blasts, and it cost $2 a foot. Where's my...
Took about 4 months to do.
About 4 months to do.
So from here all the way down to that doorway, that's it. Not the rest of the tunnel we're going to walk through, just this straightaway.
When was it safe to walk through?
Well, what you have to do to make sure it's safe is see all these different see these. Hold on, let me get the flashlight out.
Flashlight.
You're quicker than me.
That's your battery, Lynn.
Okay. These right here, these are long stakes, which there are some further down. I'll show you them further down, actually out of the rock, so you can see.
Why don't we just show them on the side, but let's go to the rainbow tunnel.
Okay.
Just point out what they look like and point out the wooden set.
Okay.
The timber set, and then let's go right to.
Oh, where's the fault lines? The fault lines are down here too.
They're all over the place.
You guys that know about earthquakes and fault lines? Did you know there's fault lines right along here?
Baby fault lines, not like the big fault lines, baby ones.
Yep.
Here, if you want to keep going. So as you walk through, there's this big wooden structure we're going to walk through. This is called the timber set. Like a steel one we saw earlier, but made out of wood. And then over on the right side, you'll see what those square plates look like. They're like giant screws that would go inside. They're called roof bolts or rock bolts. Each one keeps back about 20 tons of rock.
Remember those things I was pointing out in the ceiling? Yeah. This is how deep they go. There's the part that you see right there. All right?
They're about 10, 15 feet back.
All right, and we're going to keep going. We're going to go to the rainbow room. It's like an anchor. What it does, it goes in and then it butterflies out and holds everything in. So this part here is my personal favorite. So if everyone would just go right in the room. This is my personal favorite. You're actually going to want to see the minerals down here. Right down here. Bless you. All right. right, I'm gonna squeeze through here real quick. So this is my favorite part, and I hope that it's gonna be your all's favorite part too. This is called the Rainbow Tunnel. Over millions of years ago, a process called geological metamorphosis happened, and it created like the most unique deposits of ore, of zinc ore and everything. You see all along here. This was a part that John Collick, when he was blasting out the tunnel, he's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys got to come check this out. It's amazing." Comes in here, and when the lights go out, you guys are going to be in awe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the lights off, and if you want to take pictures, turn the flash off. Keep your flash off to take pictures. Otherwise, you're going to flood it out. Let me see. Let me get right behind you. And there's been people that have gotten married in here. Geologists have gotten married in here. People from all around the world have come here because this right here is what Sterling Mine is all about.
Excuse me, I'm gonna sneak in.
Guys, see all the different colors? Make sure to take turns so everyone can get a good picture. Here, you can go right ahead. So what do you guys think?
It's amazing.
Right? This is my favorite thing. This is what made me fall in love with this mine.
So 4 colors you're going to see right here real quick. Red is your calcite. That is the zinc. Okay? Oh, no, calcite's from the marble, my fault. Willemite is the zinc.
Red is
dead. Willemite is your zinc.
Green is money.
Okay, that's green. Green is the color of money. They call it the money rock or the cash rock. Yellow or orange is called wollastonite, and blue is called hydrofluorite. If you look over on the one all in the back, you'll see the curve that kind of makes the rainbow effect. And a lot of times I see a lot of guys come in here and tell me, "Oh, rainbows aren't manly." Well, if you look at the top of the rainbow, tell me what you see, because that's kind of cool. By the way, that's all natural. None of this here has been painted. It's all naturally occurring.
You guys have about 2 minutes before I turn the lights back on.
I found mommy.
Come on, let's go sit down on the bench.
Here.
Come here. Mommy's right here.
And if you guys notice, when I do turn the light back on, the green is actually going to glow a little bit longer than the rest of them. That's because they're phosphorus. That means that they actually hold the light, and all the particles are going crazy for a little bit longer than just when they initially absorbs it.
It's actually in the floor too.
Yep. If we were to turn off all the lights, and take a shortwave ultraviolet light, like one of these, and walk around the tunnel, this whole place, this whole mine would like be the red and green for the most part.
And it's not just the normal black light that you buy off Amazon. It has to be a shortwave one. All right, I'm going to turn the lights back on so shield your eyes, but if you notice, watch the green. The green is going to last longer.
Do the bottom one first.
See the green?
So that's called phosphorescence. You want to lead them out?
We'll go to the next spot. puddles. They're a little bit deep. The puddles are a little deep.
Military came in and did some surveying, so it tells you latitude, longitude, and elevation. So north, here's your longitude.
So that's what the
Here's your
medallion
latitude.
for?
Yeah.
So
Or
that
latitude.
has nothing to do with the person that mined this? Or?
No, this is put in here because all this is extra. So this was not part of the original mine. This whole straightaway we just walked through from the
Part of after they purchased
Yep.
it to make open.
Yep, so that used to be the old exit, then we added some more
Yes.
exits, so these are all the new exits.
Yes, they did. We're about to go over that right now. So there's 357 types of minerals known that occur here. They make up 10% of the minerals known to science. So if you come here, you can see 10% of all minerals known to science because they're located here. 35 are found nowhere else in the world, and 91 of them fluoresce, like you just saw. So this is the blasting. Tyler?
Excuse me, let me sneak through a sec.
So what we're going to do is we're going to example and show you how it blasts. But you can't just put in some dynamite and just blow it up because a big chunk will fall down. So what they do is they put a bunch of little holes so that they can kind of predict where it's going to go. So with all those little holes, it would blow out and it would land right where you guys are now. Like I said earlier, there were 77 deaths reported between 1897 and 1986. And in June of 2019, there was a ghost hunting expedition here with New Jersey Paranormal.
Which are here today. They actually do stuff. If you go on to New Jersey Paranormal, if you're interested in all that stuff, they actually do maybe once every 2 or 3 months. They'll do a tour thing. It's like $50, $90 a ticket, depending when they do it. So they're here today doing like a little convention with their group.
And according to one of the miners, this is a quote from him: "We blasted every day with burning fuses 6 feet long. Powder was 1 by 8 inch. Those are the size of the dynamite sticks. And fuses were lit by the carbide lights on their hats. Fuses allowed approximately 3 minutes to run to safety." So what we're going to do is, this is one of the lights that they used to use, candles. They would either hook it onto their hat, like that, or they would find somewhere in the wall to hook it on.
Well, so they could hook it on with the hook, or they can hammer the spike into a crack in the wall.
So you would find somewhere to hang it and light it. And where's the light?
So the light's right there, so here we go. So I'm going to turn this. There we go. So ready? So I need your help. On the count of 3, I need you guys to yell the words "fire in the hole" as loud as you can. Yep, not yet. You're going to hear a whistle. So what they're going to do is they're going to take the compressed air pipe, they're going to hook a hose up to this, and you're going to hear a whistle. That's going to warn the other miners around them further away that they're going to be blasting. They're going to yell the words "fire in the hole," and then they're going to start blasting a small sequence. And again, not one big blast, but several small sequences to get the biggest bang for your buck with as little TNT as possible. Okay? So ready? On the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Fire in the hole! That way.
Did anybody count how many blasts there were? How many?
12.
No?
10 million.
Whoa, you guys would be awful miners. Oh my goodness. There were 8. You have to count how many blasts there are, because if you light so many fuses, you want to make sure that many fuses goes off. Otherwise you go, uh-oh, one of them didn't go off, and you go over to check it and boom, something would explode and you could cause serious damage. So this is how we blasted, and how far was it?
So what they would do is, so these are my friends Ted and Tom. Right? They would come in the morning. Thank you. You're like the second person who ever laughed at that joke. So Ted and Tom would come in, and they would clear out the loose rock from the previous day. They would load it up into ore carts. They would then take that pipe right there. They would hook a hose up to that and blast all the dirt, all the air out. They would then, from there, they would drill into the holes in the wall, or put the rock bolts or the roof bolts in place, drill into that wall there, place the TNT, go around the corner, set it off, and then go home. So at night, all the TNT would settle, all the rock would settle, and they would go back in and start over again. One whole day of blasting, one 10-hour shift, would add about 10 feet of new tunnel.
Did you hear that?
10 feet of new tunnel.
10 feet of new tunnel. You wanted to know how long it took. For 10 feet of the tunnel, it would take a whole day.
So take 10 steps, and that's how long it took. One day did 10 steps.
Mm-hmm. And that's how much, and that would be an accomplished day.
Being a marble is a generally soft material, how long does it take to drill in one of these bolts?
That I don't know how long it takes. I know that the marble, so they have the scale, the hardness scale that you use for minerals. It's a marble. This marble is actually very low quality. It's a 3 or a 4.
So it's softer.
It's soft. They would use diamond drills or steel drills. So steel is a 5, diamond is a 10 out of 10.
And they would actually, somebody asked me about the long cylinders that you saw outside. Those are core samples, and you would use the diamond driller to get those core samples. They would go
to about 100, 200
anywhere
feet.
to a couple hundred feet to pull out these long core samples so that they could run all the tests on it to find out. So you would say, oh, there's no more zinc here. They'll circle it and put an X, change direction. You want to go this way, you want to go that way. So they would follow that. They'd get core samples all the time. And you'll see some of the core samples outside on the little pieces of them that are in the pit. All right, so we're going to go this way.
Okay. All right, so real quick, as you head this way, there's going to be a display on the right side. Take a look at that, and then head to the tunnel directly across from that. We will be waiting down there. I will explain both pieces together because they kind of go hand in hand.
Take a look at this, and then go right down there.
You good? So this is called a stope. A stope is a workplace, okay, in the mine, S-T-O-P-E. So it would be typically a lot longer than this, a lot wider than this, and you would have several teams working here at the same time. So on your team, you would have someone working this air-powered jumbo drill, drilling into the walls and ceiling. All that loose rock would fall to the ground. We then call that loose rock, we call it muck, M-U-C-K. Okay? The mucker would use a mucking machine to drag all that loose muck into this ore chute, which would go about 100 feet down to the work level below us, where you would see someone over there, right, would be raising or lowering a beam or opening a hatch to load up an ore cart, which you saw over there. That would go to the ore pass, down through the grizzly into the crusher, back up to the top, crushed again, 2 more times actually, and then to that conveyor belt, and then we take it to Pennsylvania. So that's how the whole process worked. Now, this mine is also one of the last underground mines in New Jersey. I think it actually is the last one.
It is the last one.
And this is also called a cut and fill mine. So what happens is these drills only go up about 10 feet. So after that, what happens is you can't reach the ore anymore. You don't leave it. What you do is you take all the machines out, you add a couple more pieces to this pipe, wrap it in burlap so nothing gets through, take a paste or a fill with concrete, some leftover marble, sand, and water, and you fill up the floor until you can put the machines back. It takes about 2 to 3 days to do that, and then you can drill into the ceiling again. So you cut the ceiling, and then you fill the floor. Cut, fill mine. That's what this is called. Now this machine, again, has this chain right here in front. Now a lot of people think it's to prevent people from getting hit in the face by rocks, but the problem is, if my arm can fit through that, so can a rock. So it's actually not meant for the rock. It's meant for this giant cable right here that's made out of steel. It gets really taut and it can actually snap and fling back and hit the mucker in the face and give him whiplash and cut his, lacerate his face. Not really good. So what we do is you put this chain up, it snaps, it hits the chain, bounces down, you turn it off, retie it, and then you go back to working again. Now over there you have a raise.
Okay, and there's actually a story about the raise. There was, there's not a whole lot of bad air things that can happen in here, but there was one bad air incident. They were up in the raise, and somehow the oxygen got cut off. So people that were going up there, they just kept collapsing. And there were about 8 or 9 people that went up there and collapsed. They finally got airflow back in there, so they were able to pull the people down. There was only one serious injury from that, and that was because one of the guys, when he passed out, he landed on one of these things that stuck out for you. It's like a little step for you to step on. He got caught on that. So he had a major groin incident. But the other 8 or 9 miners went just to the hospital just because of lack of oxygen for a little bit. But that was one of the incidents that happened here in the mine.
So a raise, just so you know, is a tunnel that was drilled out by one person. You would drill and blast your way up 100 feet to the level above us to connect it so that you can circulate air, so you can walk a lot better for safety reasons, so you don't have to go all the way back to the main shaft station to go up. You just have to go up the safety ladder here at the raise. So not a lot of people like doing that job because it's one person up there 90 feet by yourself, and if something happens to you, no one's going to know until your tag is missing.
So, all right, so let's keep going this way.
Out of curiosity, did they ever find any ghosts?
I'm not sure.
There
are some legends. There's a legend of Bicycle Pete. Bicycle Pete, he actually was riding his bike around and he fell down a mine shaft, and he hasn't been found since. And they say that every once in a while you'll see a light, you'll see like a random light, and people have said they've seen it.
So you can see, if you look, the ore, see how the ore has this line? You actually see it better on this side. See that? It's the same angle that the shaft station is going to be on. That's from blasting, and then it's just leftover stuff.
Lots of cave kisses today. For all the rain that we had.
To the left side, left side.
To the left, to the left.
Right in here.
That's left over from the haunted mine.
Blasting? What's that noise?
Somebody else is blasting, yes. I was taking too long, so he's stepping in to speed it up a little bit since he knows it all better than I do. That is a dead body from the haunted mine tour when we did that. So it's not somebody that we just recently buried.
Or is it?
Or is it? Yeah. There's still like spaghetti and stuff over there from when I was in that spot, and it's like all gross. I was like, oh gosh.
Food for the
rats.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite spots in the mine because I love the story. So this is called the Old Stope. And what happened in the Old Stope was it was carved out in the 1800s. We have no record of this being part of the original mine. It was actually boarded up, and what happened was they were trying to make the parking lot, and some gravel kept sinking into here, so they excavated, they found the hole boarded up. They came down here, it starts this way, it goes across this tunnel, which we blasted out in 1997 after we found it to create a path to it, and then it goes into that lake about 200 feet down. Okay, it was not carved out by with power tools. It was actually carved out using hand tools, pickaxes and hand drills. But what I liked about this the most was, you guys remember that black rock we saw at the shaft station I told you to remember? Yeah. Okay, that came from here. That is actually New Jersey coal. But there's a problem with that. What did I tell you in the beginning?
There is no coal in New Jersey.
No coal in New Jersey. That's because in the early 2000s, we actually had 2 actors and a crew come here, Ben Stiller and John Voight. They filmed a little movie here. It took about 2 weeks to film their scenes, in which Ben Stiller's character decided to quit the fashion model industry and came to the coal mines in New Jersey. It was actually filmed here in this spot. Okay.
Yes,
So this we call the
Zoolander.
Zoolander area.
Was
But
filmed-
that
part of it was
coal is
filmed
actually
here.
the leftover remnants from the movie because there's no such thing as New Jersey coal. So he took styrofoam and sponge and painted it black and spray painted the walls black to make it look like a coal mine. And it was filmed here. So where Ben Stiller walks in, he gets about 5 minutes in and starts coughing up a lung because he's got black lung disease for sticking a step in. That was filmed here. Okay? So the other cool thing is the Museum of Natural History in New York City was working on their geology exhibit. They wanted to upgrade it. They asked for a 10 by 20 foot slab. We blasted it out from our back area of our mine and we sent it to them. They polished it up. It didn't fit, so it was actually too heavy. So they carved it up into 2 pieces or 3 pieces, and we have the sister pieces right here. So I'm going to turn the lights off. You can take a look at here. You're going to see the walls and ceiling fluoresce. You're going to see these slabs fluoresce. These, again, they're the sister slabs of the ones in Museum of Natural History in New York City. Then you can go across the tunnel and see that lake. We walked about 40 feet down, so that is at the groundwater, that water table. It goes about 200 feet down. It is not the same spot we saw earlier. We actually made a big quarter-mile U, okay? So have fun, take pictures.
And don't use your flash for the pictures. No, you want to stay in here. You'll want to stay in here. We'll look at that in a minute, but you'll want to see all this. Uh-oh. Wrong light.
I turned it off. Someone's coming down. Hello?
Sorry, I'm slow, so the other tours are catching up. That's why he's kind of taken over a little bit, because I'm slower. There you go. And this is why I fell in love with Sterling Mine, all the phosphorus glowy rocks. But just to think, the other half of that is in the National Museum of History. And then right over here, you have the water tables right over here. So that's if you have a house on the mountain and you need to dig down for a water well, that's how deep you have to dig down. Feel it? You want to see the water?
Okay, I'm going to turn the lights on. We're going to take a quick look at the lake, then we're going to go out this door, and Bree's going to let us into the next spot. Here. Actually, should be unlocked already, but just in case.
There you go. There's the
So
water
take a look at the
table.
lake, then we're going to head out this door.
Make sure you check out the water table, the lake over there,
Out
the
that way, yep.
underground lake. Oh wow, it's a little flooded right now.
How deep is that? 200?
200 feet-ish, about. Sulfur.
It is the sulfur.
Sulfury smell. It changes. So sometimes you get really, really like strong sulfur, and then sometimes you don't get it at all.
See, I got used to it. When I walked in there, I was like, wow.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, and then sometimes you walk in, you're like, oh my god, it smells so bad. Like especially when it rains more, you get a lot more sulfur. How you doing?
So when you go in to do the fluorescent, don't go in the jail tank. 'cause that's
Well, yeah, don't go in the back. Yeah, I help them set up, so I.
good. Oh, so you don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna help stay. I'm staying with you guys.
Did you want to get a picture?
Bree is doing the tour. I'm trying to help her get more confidence up.
Oh, look, stop there.
We're not gonna go that way. We're gonna go out. We have to go up the ramp anyway. Okay.
They do that, and they cycle through line, do that, they cycle through line, those two groups go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to be joining you guys as soon as we're done with this.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Was the odometer hanging from the ceiling? Was that from the paranoia group?
No, that was just that was for surveying. The pendulum, that's for surveying.
Okay, folks, come on out this way. Watch your head. Watch your head. It's the most shallow part of the line.
Everyone take a quick picture. If you want me to take a quick picture, and then you're gonna see cool stuff. Good? No, I was gonna help you if you needed it.
No, no.
You good? Where do you want me to meet you when you're done? Okay. We're going to stay in this area for you. You don't have to keep it
Everything.
open.
No, I'm just doing that because I was going that way.
Yep,
So I figured
I'm going to once everybody gets in here. We gotta wait for everybody to get in here so I can tell everybody. So this is the fluorescent museum. We got everybody in here?
Yep, we're going to get everyone in here real quick, and then we're going to let you guys wander around.
No, but there's some rubies in here.
Not jewelry quality
Not
rubies,
jewelry
but rubies.
quality, but there's some rubies. So this is our fluorescence museum, and everything in here does glow. And there's a few things, like if you have your credit card, your money, your driver's license, all of that will glow also. You'll see all the counterfeit measures. You'll also see some of it in the money over here. Maybe, I don't know. And then you've got uranium glass that glows that's behind the glass, so you guys can't touch it because it is radioactive. And then you have leaded glass, which people used to use. And they used it until they realized that you got lead poisoning and you died. So,
Did you know that the musician Beethoven, he started dying because he was deaf and because he was using lead, silver?
I did not know that. Wow, that's cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the lights off, and you'll be able to see.
There's going to be 3 rooms. So they're using the other side of the building, so please, please, please do not wander around the whole building. Stay in this big room, which we will refer to as the main room. There's a room that we came in on the left side, right here, and there's a room right here on the right side, my right side. So stay in those 3 rooms. Please do not wander around the other parts, okay? Do not wander around the hallways outside of the site as well. Stay in here, okay?
All right, and you get your glow on. And like I said, if you don't use your flash, the best picture for you to take is have one person on one side of the table and the other person, and you go like this. Right? But you get a picture like that with everybody.
Great Halloween picture.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, you want to do it?
That's the best picture to get in here. And make sure you look and see everything.
Come here.
I found symmetry.
Yeah, what kind of rock did you find? Oh, okay. So it's just a regular rock?
My pants glow.
Didn't glow? Yeah, your pants glow. And if you put your hands in here, look, your fingernails glow. And also, I don't want to start any fights, but if you put diamonds under here, if they glow blue, they're real. And if they glow another color, then they're not.
Men, run!
And I can't figure out why. I have to talk to my husband to find out why, but only one of mine's glowing. See how it glows? Hold it right up under those lights. Yeah, that's right.
It looks like some aren't glowing. See that?
Oh, yeah. Right there.
It's
weird, but I think it's because they need to be cleaned too.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
I think because I know mine are real,
Mine's
so
been a while.
and see only some of mine are glowing, so I think it's.
So those those are by the
So pull
glass
out
you're
like
looking through.
a $1 bill,
Those
$5
are
bill, $20 bill, and hold it
different
under, and
waves
you'll see
of
it glow.
ultraviolet light,
Your
and then eventually
shoes
it'll
glow,
turn off the
yeah.
lights, and you'll see phosphorescence. So not all rocks will react the same way. Some react to different types of wavelengths of UV light,
Why do I glow up?
and then some of them will phosphoresce, which means they'll continue to glow when the lights turn off.
If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask me or Tyler.
Like my clothes glowing.
Because you got like.
Someone
it's
asked,
just
why
like,
do I
lens
glow?
and
Because the
stuff
stuff
on
that you're
there, so
wearing
anything
glows.
Like white lint and stuff will
Right?
glow. You know, black lights from high
So like
school
your
with
teeth
the,
will
you know,
fluoresce, your eyes will
highlighters
fluoresce,
glow,
your
and
fingernails will
wear
fluoresce,
waves and
your
stuff and
clothing.
glow. Same thing. Because they have the short wave, long wave, and mid wave.
Ask her. I don't know. I purposely did not learn that because someone always asked. I had two friends come in and goes, "Why my diamond is yellow and mine's blue?" And I was like, "I'm out of here. I'm out." Because I didn't know the answer, and they're like, "Why are our diamonds different colors?" I was like, "I don't know."
See all the different anti-counterfeit measures they have on there?
It's not starting a divorce.
This is the uranium glass. And it used to be made with uranium. And that's why it's behind there, because it is radioactive. And then you have the leaded glass that people used to drink out of and end up eventually, you have to drink out of it a long time for it to be lead poisoning. But it's the leaded glass and everything. And don't miss this room in here also. Right in here. This is one of my favorite displays. Wow. Isn't it pretty?
Wow. Bree, like another 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay. We got 3 minutes. And then there's more stuff in there too. This is my favorite though, right here. Yeah, I might have an answer. Because it got broken.
What's that character's name?
That is that Happy?
Is that Happy?
I believe it's Happy. Because he's happy.
He's smiling.
Mm-hmm. Grumpy would be the one that's like. But this is my favorite display right here.
This is awesome.
Just because I think it's just beautiful.
Yeah. Is that like a thick piece of rock, or is it wrapped with something?
It's just different. I think they use like sand or something on it. I'm not sure exactly. This just is my favorite. 1 more minute.
I think
With the
zinc
lights
powder,
off.
other company. That fluoresces. Add that in, water takes that on, and then the whole water fluoresces.
So we're gonna be exiting that way. You ready
Fish
to go?
tanks, but I don't think the fish.
They're ready to go. So should I let them out over there?
No, we're not gonna. Can't go that way.
Oh, we can't go out that way. Okay. Oh wait, we're not.
Guys, we're gonna leave in like 30.
There's something going on.
Everyone's got to go up the ramp. Hey guys, like 30 more seconds.
28, 27,
26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Can you finish it?
19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 11, 12, 14.
Lights back on. He says 1.
Ready, here we go. Lights are coming back on in 3, 2, 1. Okay, if everyone can come back into the main room, the big room, please.
Everybody in the main room. See, he's used to talking to people all the time. He's a teacher also.
That one right there.
So he's good in front of people.
I'm just making sure everyone's out. No one's hiding.
All right.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for being so understanding and helpful and helping Bree with her first tour.
Yeah. And thank you guys so much for being so great on my first tour.
Thank you guys for coming. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you had fun. And we hope to see you guys again in the future. Tell your friends about us. Bring your families. A lot of fun seeing you guys. Okay? Follow us out. Follow Bree out that way. I'll take the keys. Yep. And then Bree's gonna lead you back up to the parking lot. Up to the ramp. Yep. Here, I'm gonna give you this back.
This way, out this way. We're going out this way.
Talk to you afterwards?
Sure.
We're going in the tunnel. The tunnel's a little low, so for all you tall people. Oh, you guys are going to get to see the picture at the end of the tunnel. Yeah? Come right this way. Yeah. If you look at that picture, if you look right outside, that's exactly where the picture was taken. See, here's the picture, and that's exactly where it was taken. Yeah. Yeah, we're
Remember Carol taking this up?
If you're over 18, then you can get rocks out of the pit. You just have to go. It's like $5 to go into the pit, but it's $2 a pound, minimum of 5 pounds. And see that little room on the door of the thing? There's a black light in there. So you take a bucket, pick the ones that you want to pick up, take them into that room, look to see which ones glow. And you get 2 pounds. It's 2 pounds. I just messed up. It's $5 to get in and $2 a pound for each pound. No problem.
That's why I pushed the pressure on me to catch it.
And then we have our gift shop also that has like little bags of some of the phosphorus rocks too. And you guys, the closest restroom would be right in that building.
Awesome.
You got to go in on the other side.
Fantastic job.
Thank you so much.
Can I give you a hand? High five? Cool things.
Awesome.
Let me see if I could dump the footage. If you guys have a hard drive big enough.
Okay.
Oh, can you
I have my phone.
No, this is like 200, 300 gigs right now.
Oh, do you have a Dropbox or something that you can do?